Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ashton D, aka Captain Rebellion, and I'm here to bring you the very first episode of How I Made That. So, what this show is pretty much going to be of is showing you guys how I produced or how I came up with the ideas of how I made certain songs. This first episode I'm going to be doing is going to be the song Fire by Count Marquez I did about 6 months back. I'm going to give you a brief overview of who I am. Um, I am a producer slash artist slash songwriter. I have my digital audio degree. I just got it. I just finally finished it. It's been like a 5 year in the making thing, but that's a whole different story. Um, I've produced for myself and a couple other artists, and I mainly use Cubase. I use a little bit of Logic Pro, and a tiny bit of Pro Tools. I haven't used a lot of Pro Tools. I'm more versed in Cubase. I use Cubase 6, and that's what I'm going to be showing you in today, how I made this, how I produced this beat. And I also helped write a bit of the hook for the song too. So in the description is going to be a link to the actual song that I produced on my SoundCloud. And if you're interested, you can go check that out. But I'll play you guys a quick little snippet right here of the song. Yeah, here we go, real quick.
Like him, I used pure weight in 2010. The only time you ever seen pure weight was in the gym. The only time you've been forced to put it down was in the gym. What's the difference between me and it? Oh!
Right, that's a quick snippet, but if you guys want to listen to the full song, feel free to follow the link in the description. So what I'm going to do is just pretty much go step by step through each little thing I did on here to create these sounds I did. So first off, here I just have a sample that I got off YouTube of a lion's roar. Pretty straight and to the point. I really didn't have to do much to that. I might have had to turn it up or deepen the growl a little bit. We can take a look on my mixer, and I did use a Studio EQ to take out some of the low end because I believe it was really, really low. There was a lot of low end, and it was kind of just really muddy. So it kind of sounds a little better right there. Okay, and so next is we have the main synth I use, and it's kind of a sample really. I used a whole bunch of different stuff to create this sound. Let's go to the mixer, check it out. Actually, I think I bounced it, but I did do an EQ to it. Dropped out a lot of the high end, so that way when the vocals came in, they weren't competing with this sound. So here it is again with the actual all the stuff taken out of it. You can tell a lot of the here. Turn it off. I'll turn it back on. Okay. So yeah, there's a big difference. It really doesn't make that big of a difference when the song actually comes in. But if it was an instrumental, I'd probably leave it off. But I did use something called a driver. Let's see if I can find it. Distortion. No. Where would it be? Might be underneath instruments. I might have put it underneath that for some reason. Yeah, driver. So this is pretty much a distortion, and it has a whole bunch of presets. And originally, it was a totally different sound, but when I put it through the driver and a few other things, it really distorted the sound, and it made it sound, pretty electronic. And that's the thing I was going for. So let me get out of that. And next, we have this organ, which I needed that. I didn't even use it. It wasn't really needed because this pretty much ate it up anyway in the mix. So there was really no reason to use that. All right, so next is the app synth that I use. It's an arpeggiated synth, and it's made by Tal. If you guys haven't heard of Tal Instruments, it's a free download, and it's pretty useful. They have a whole bunch of different effects that you can use, and this one I just used for arpeggiated synth. I do use this a lot. I like arpeggiations, so this is how it sounds. And if you go down here, you can change the rate. I have it at 1/16. It's a good pace for the song. And let's check out what I did in the mixer. In the mixer, I did take out a bit of the high frequencies because it would have been competing with the vocals also. I also put another studio EQ underneath it, take out some of the lows, so it's really MIDI. And then I did a stereo enhancer to make it more wide. Takes up a little bit more of the mix. And that's it for that. So the kick, that's the kick I'm using right now. Well, that's the kick in the final mix, I guess. But it fits well. I mean, it sounds kind of weird here, but I also might have did something to it in the mixer, so let's check it out. Yeah, I did. There. I took out a lot of the high end, make it more low end, so it hits harder. Or it seemingly hits harder. It doesn't really hit much harder, but the high end makes it seem like it hits less, especially in the car. And that would take up some of the vocals, so I dropped those down a bit. And what's next? We have the higher kick, I guess. So that they gave it that high end that I took out without adding too much. So let's see if I did anything to it in the mixer. I did take a bit of the high end out, but it's still pretty punchy, as you can hear. So it adds a top layer to the kick. Makes the kick sound way more complete and full. All right, so let's go with the clap. I've been using this clap a lot. I use Contact, or not Contact, but Battery. And this is one of my favorite claps to use. Let's see what I did to it in the mixer, because I know I definitely probably could change this up. I use Mod Machine, kind of give it a slapback type of feel, and then added some reverb to it, make it a little bit more full. Didn't bother to EQ this at all. I really like my claps to kind of stand out, and it only hits on certain parts, so I feel like it doesn't really mess with the vocal mix too much. All right, now onto the hi-hats. Pretty simple. Let's see if I did anything to it. I had a studio EQ, brightened it up a little bit. As you can see right here, I used the bright hi-hat preset, and it works pretty dang well. So that's it for that. Pretty straight to the point with the hi-hats. Now this synth right here is only on the chorus. It's pretty reverby and airy and kind of, eerie sounding, but it totally adds way more depth to it. So when the chorus comes in, exactly that, what it is. It's the chorus, because it's way more full, the chorus. So let's see if I did anything to that. Nope, pretty much good on its own. I also added some effects to that. I can't remember off the top of my head what I did to it, but eventually I had to bounce it all into one track so it wasn't taking up too much space. Lagging down my CPU usage, because I'm using a MacBook right now, so it really likes to get bogged down pretty easily. I had to go buy an external hard drive and put all my VSTs and samples on an external hard drive, so that way it didn't eat up that much of my my disk space. So yeah, that's the hook synth. And here's another audio. I think I just added this for more. I actually added the organ right here, and it has nothing on it. It just adds some low into it. I don't know if you guys can even hear that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Here we go. I have the piano on the hook too. It adds more of it kind of adds like a Halloween feel to it if you listen to it. if you listen to it with everything. But that doesn't have all the effects on it, so let's check out what I added to it. I added a Studio EQ, which is basic piano preset. And then I went back in and added a stereo delay, which is, it just adds a little bit more ambience. As you can see, it says ambience right here, which is definitely nice for a piano. Makes it sound more roomy. Here's another reverb right here, a cathedral reverb. And that definitely gives it that Halloween, scary, spooky feeling. You'll hear that in a second. Then I added a maximizer because it's pretty quiet, as you could just hear. So let's go listen to that again. Definitely better, and I'll listen to it with the whole mix. Alright, and there's that for the piano. Now I have this I call it a West Coast bass. It's not a West Coast bass here. Let's look at what it actually is. It's under Massive. It's called the Aggressor preset. And here, let me turn on my keyboard real quick, and I can play a few notes in it and see that you guys know how it sounds. So it's pretty West Coasty. If you I've heard a lot of like old school like West Coast music, then that's a sound that you can hear in a lot of them. So I use that for like kind of a break section out of the hook into the actual next verse. So here, let me play that for you real quick. I added this. As you can see, I dropped some of the low end out and brightened it up a little bit because it was really low. And it kind of didn't fit with the rest of the mix. So let's play that with the rest of the beat.
The system established.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. And here are the vocals. I didn't turn off everything for the vocals. But here, before I get to that, I do have extra added synth at the end of the song. I call it Neptune chords. It totally sounds like something Neptune's like for real and Chad would use. You can take a listen to it. And here's some of the stuff I added. I took out a little bit of the high end to, it was really like tingy and tingy and very like high pitched when it hit certain notes. So I had to drop that out a little bit to kind of get rid of that annoying frequency. Let's see what else I did. Roomworks, I add a little bit of reverb to it, arena reverb. It's my favorite kind of reverb to use, especially on vocals. Here I added a flanger to give it more of a twang feel. And stereo enhancer to make it a little bit more wide in the mix. So let's go ahead and listen to that again now that I have all those presets turned on. All right, now I'll play it with the actual beat. Back it up a little bit.
Come on, we getting money over here. What you saying? So real about this here, we ain't playing.
Alright, and that's it. I also added some wobbles, some kind of a dubstep, wobbles. You can hear it right here. Pretty straightforward. And let's see what I did in the mixer with it. Oh, nothing. Alright, pretty straightforward. I'll play it with the beat. All right, so pretty straightforward. Now let's get to the vocals. The vocals I pretty much mix the same. I might not have did what I do now in this mix, but what I like to do is main vocal. Let's go to the main vocal of Travis, and he's kind of
Unlike him, I moved pure weight in 2010. The only time you ever seen pure weight was in the gym. The only time you've been forced to put it down was in the gym. What's the difference between me and him?
All right, so what I do now is I actually put the de-esser underneath the EQ, because a lot of times if you de-ess first, you might with the compression and with the EQing, you might add difference. Especially if you brighten up your EQ, you add more high end. So it's actually a good idea to do compressor, studio EQ, and then do your de-esser. And Cubase, if anybody uses Cubase, they know the de-esser freaking blows. There's really no, it really doesn't like have a place to show you what frequencies you want to de-ess. So I've been playing around with various de-essers. I really like Logic's de-esser a lot better, and Logic's EQing and things it has for putting on your mixer for vocals. But I'm really versed in Cubase, so I can make it work. But this is pretty much the route I usually use right here. I use compressor, lead vocals in your face, studio EQ, lead male vocal, but I also boost up the high frequencies and drop out a little bit more lows than it gives you to brighten up the vocals and make them stand out a little bit more. And then I add a little bit of reverb. As you can see, it's only hit like 1, because it varies in songs. This song didn't need a lot of it, so I only use that much. And then a maximizer, of course, to help push up those vocals. And then these are the dub ad-lib, and I usually use around the same thing, but I don't like to throw any more reverb on there because then it can get really muddy. So that's pretty much what I do with all my vocals, but obviously it varies with the artist and how their vocal is, and what range they sing in, what frequency ranges they like their voice is. So that's pretty much it. I also use isotope ozone, which is a form of mastering. It's not really something professionals probably use, but it is something that definitely gets the job done if you are in a home studio and you're looking something to boost the overall audio and make it cleaner, and make maybe make the bass stand out a little bit more, maybe make some frequencies stand out more. You can go delve into that. I'll probably do a video later on about how I use that, but what you hear right now definitely sounds different than the final product because I use the isotope ozone. So if you want to hear the final product, it is on my SoundCloud in a link below. So make sure to go check that out. If you guys are interested in seeing more videos, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. You can also check me out on Facebook at www.facebook.com/CaptainRebellion. Also, you could follow the link of my song and subscribe to me on SoundCloud. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this. I will be doing more of these in the future, probably twice a month. So make sure you tune in for those. Probably in another 2 weeks, I'll have another video up of something I've worked on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you've enjoyed it, like on the likes, blah blah blah, on a like button. Just hit the like button, subscribe, and until next time, you guys, peace.